Hi, have you ever had the challenge of packing for a trip that was into a cold weather climate and you're going to need a lot of gear? Well, we're doing that as we get ready for our Northern Lights cruise up above the Arctic Circle in winter. So today we're going to do a packing video and take you through some of the things that we are going to pack to try to be ready for this trip.
We are Next Act Cruising. I'm Bob.
And I'm Sarah.
So now let's start talking about how to gear up for an Arctic trip.
Something you're definitely going to need, and we're going to need, is a warm coat. And I'll let Bob tell about his coat first.
My coat is a Columbia coat that's geared to go down to 25 degrees below zero. And it has this shiny reflective heat technology inside. It's lightweight and it will be very adequate for the weather.
I went with a Lands End coat. I've used Lands End coats for years to get ready for this trip. I will admit to upgrading to a new coat. I like this one. It's puffy, it's cozy, and I like a coat that's a little bit longer, closer to the knees for keeping warm. And let's just say that today is a great day to talk about going into the Arctic and into this cold weather, because where we live here, it is now 1 degree Fahrenheit. Overnight, I think we were down to what, Bob?
14 below zero.
14 below zero. So we are getting acclimated for the Arctic, right? So all our purchases or upgrades that we are doing for this trip will be well used in the future. We don't consider it just a one-time use. They're things we're going to use winter after winter. And we'll show you today, we're going to show you a combination of new things we bought and older things we're using on the trip. So let's keep going on our packing list.
We also have the challenge of packing for 2 climates. Not only will we be above the Arctic Circle, but we're also starting our trip in Oxford, the United Kingdom. So we'll need to have clothes that won't be quite as heavy as the ones we will need on the cruise.
So we're looking at bringing a second coat. I'm still deciding on mine, and I'm going to look at the weather report in England before I go. I can go with my very lightweight winter coat, but it doesn't have a hood and wouldn't be as good in the rain. And I have a good raincoat that I can wear heavier clothes under that is pretty good too. When we were in Ireland a couple months ago and it was in the 50s, the raincoat worked great. We're just not sure in England if it's going to be closer of high of 40s or high of 50s. But we'll look at the weather forecast before we go and make a decision. Bob has an easier decision.
I'm taking my lightweight puffer coat, which goes down comfortably to probably 25 degrees. If it's raining in 25, it should be very comfortable.
Both of these packable puffer coats came from Lands End, and they compress down really well and are easy to pack either inside the suitcase or to shove them into a pocket on the outside of your suitcase right before you check it in at the airport.
Now, as you can see, I'm definitely going to need to keep my head warm. So when we're on the cruise in the Arctic, I have a couple of my stocking hats that I will wear. In fact, they're very comfortable. They keep me very warm. They cover my head and my ears also. But we have the challenge of the Oxford part of the trip. And for that part of the trip, I have just my Harris tweed wool cap that I will wear, that I had good luck wearing it in Ireland in torrential rain and cold, and my head never got cold one time. So it works.
And you look awesome and dapper in it, Bob.
Well, thank you, Sarah.
Well, I am not as much of a hat person, but we're going to need something when it's really cold. I love that blue coat of mine because it has a really great warm hood. But I'm going to need something else when I'm out doing the really cold stuff. I like to wear this balaclava. I've had it for years. I wear it outside here when it's real cold and I'm shoveling snow or something. It's great. I can probably use it as a neck gaiter, or with the opening, I can have it below my chin, I can have it on my chin, I can have it up to my mouth, or even over my nose, depending on how cold it is. How about you, Bob?
Well, I have a merino wool balaclava that I purchased just for this cruise. And I will also wear it some here when I'm shoveling snow. In fact, when it was sub-zero this week, I was out shoveling snow and I had my balaclava on and it worked just perfectly.
Okay. Let's talk about keeping our hands warm next. We're going to have a couple of options with us. I love leather gloves. They're what I will usually wear driving and getting around town. They're easy to handle things in, and that's great. But they're probably not going to keep me warm enough in real cold weather, and you can't run a cell phone with them. So I've also added a pair of gloves that you're supposed to be able to operate your cell phone with. I am challenged with using these because I have short fingers, so I end up having to keep working the fingers down tight on my fingertips so it'll work, but it is an option that I can use. And if it's super cold, we will go to the trusty mittens. Now, believe it or not, I've probably had these heavy-duty mittens for 50 years, yes, since I was born, right? And that'll be great if it's super cold. How about you, Bob?
Much like Sarah, I have some lighter weight gloves from Colombia that the fingertips, as you see, allow you for using your cell phone. And I will use those when the weather is not as cold. For the really cold weather, I have a pair of sturdy, water-resistant heavyweight gloves that I will be wearing. When we're in Oxford, I anticipate the weather won't be as cold, but in cold, rainy weather, you still want warm hands. So I have a very old pair of gloves here that I probably had 30 years. They have some Thinsulate insulation in them, and they'll work just fine.
Okay, when it gets really cold and we're out on some of those excursions where we're in the weather for 2, 3, or 4 hours, we're going to need something more than even my 50-year-old heavy mittens. So we are going to take a good number of these hand warmers with us to put inside of our gloves to help us along. These kind are air activated, so they are safe to take on the plane, either in carry-on or checked baggage. So let's show you how we're going to get around on our feet. I have a trusty pair of rugged walking tennis shoes that I love. I've had them for a couple of years now. Those are going to be my basic shoe for walking around in England and for not so cold walking around in Norway.
I also have a very similar pair to Sarah's. They're both Keens, and I've had these for several years. They're really called hiking shoes, but they're also waterproof, and they have good sole and grip on them, and they'll suit me well in England or even just out on the boat.
When we are in Norway, we will be out in the ice and snow some. So we both have a pair of hiking winter boots. These are rated down to negative 25 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit. And we've been wearing them around here in the cold weather here to break them in. And we got these because we thought they would be, for standing and walking for a long distance, we thought they would have more foot support than a normal type of boot.
And Sarah, they're also waterproof boots. And they have a nice sole on them with good technology that is resistant to slipping on the ice.
And they're both from Keen. If you're going to be wearing boots, you really want to have some boot socks, or we're using compression socks. They'll stay in place, they won't slip around, and they'll be comfortable inside our boots. Now here's where we differ a little bit. I don't like wool, and wool is very scratchy on my skin. I have bamboo compression socks.
And I have the merino wool compression socks from Love Socks. And something you didn't mention, Sarah, these will be extremely useful for us when we're flying as well.
Absolutely.
And I also have a pair of merino wool socks. I think these are 97% merino wool. They're thicker and heavier, and I anticipate when we're out in the really cold in the Arctic, I will have my compression socks on, and then I'll have these heavier socks over those. Just an added layer of warmth.
And just to ensure that our little tootsies stay warm enough, we're taking plenty of these toe warmers with us. These toe warmers are little flat surface, and you peel it off. They're air activated. You peel the paper off of it and you stick them on the outside of your socks. Stick them underneath your toes. But I'm taking enough so that we can put some on our toes and on our heels if it's super cold. We're just going to have to judge how we think the weather is, and whether it's like -10 below 0 Fahrenheit or whether it's 20 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to be a big difference in how we gear up for our adventures. We each got a new pair of waterproof snow pants. They're exactly alike. They have wide legs, so we'll be able to perhaps slip them on over our boots. And when we're out dog sledding or reindeer sledding or rolling around with the huskies in the snow, we'll be able to keep warm and dry. And we can add some base layers to that too. Bob, do you want to talk about your base layers?
Yes, sir, I do. For my lower extremities, I have a base layer that has merino wool in it. I think they're starting to see a trend with me. And it's fairly lightweight, and it'll wick any moisture away fairly quickly. And for my upper extremities, I have a thermal shirt that's very lightweight and long sleeve, and I will be wearing this as my base layer.
For my base layers, I went with these silky feeling ones. They're not silk, some kind of polyester, but they're fleece lined. I like those. Again, I'm not going to use the wool because I'm not going to go around itching all day, and these seem to work pretty well. We've tried them out already. Okay, Sarah has a few other things. I will probably take these pair of ski goggles. Again, I think they're about 50 years old. They still work though. I use them out when I'm running the snowblower, but they'll be good for keeping the snow off my glasses, or if it's super cold, just protecting my face just a little bit more. And then last, you've seen this before in prior videos, I do have a walking stick. I keep this rubber footing on it usually, but it also has a mountain climbing, kind of like a spike. Yes, a spike on the bottom that I could use if we're walking out and it's really icy. I may not use it, but I'll probably take it along just in case. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about clothing because that is so unique to every person, but we will tell you kind of our general outline of clothing because we're going to need heavy warm clothing for when we're really far north and if it's cold, and then maybe some medium heavy clothing for the weather in England. My preference is I can't wear turtlenecks anymore, so my preference is to have a crew neck t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt, and then put something over it. You'll probably, in our future videos, you'll probably see our whole wardrobe of clothing of what we took on the trip. Now, Bob has his own take on it.
Again, Sarah and I aren't the same. I love wearing turtlenecks, and so I plan on taking at least half a dozen turtlenecks of different colors on the trip. And so that'll be my mid layer. And then for my outer layer, I will be wearing wool sweaters. For example, I have two 100% merino wool Irish sweaters from Erin of Ireland. I have another wool sweater that I got from Lindsay 35 years ago that I'll be taking as well. And I like wearing the wool sweaters because even if they get wet, they still keep you warm. For the bottom half, we'll just be taking some of our favorite comfortable pants with us. I have a number of corduroys. These aren't corduroys, but I have a number of corduroy pants that I can take for a little
extra warmth.
And I will also take a number of pair of corduroy pants and maybe just some khakis for evenings on the boat.
The next question is, how are we going to get this all in our suitcase or suitcases?
That is my question, Sarah.
The first thing is, we do love packing cubes, not necessarily compression cubes, but cubes that you can organize your clothing in. We have previously had, like, each have 2 of these, put pants in one, tops in the other. It keeps it all organized, especially if you're going night to night from hotels. And we also have some smaller ones for smaller clothing. What we added for this trip is some more large packing cubes. We're hoping that we can put a couple of sweaters in each of these cubes, zip it down, and it'll kind of work like compression cubes, and try to get the sweaters that we want to take in our suitcases with us. That being said, we don't think we could get everything we need into our normal suitcase routine. Normally, Bob will show you here, we take 1 medium suitcase and a backpack each. That is just not going to cut it for all this winter gear that we've shown you, including the boots and everything that we're going to have to take. So we're going to have to get out the big boy, and we're going to have to take large suitcase with us for that winter gear. And I'll keep my fingers crossed. I hope we can get everything into 3 suitcases, but we have another carry-on suitcase that we can use if we want. There is yet another solution for you. We recently received this message from Viking about being able to rent or purchase a clothing package for the trip that would be delivered to you on the ship. We come from a cold weather climate, so having more cold weather gear wasn't a problem for us, but other people coming from a warmer climate may not be able to buy or find everything they want for the trip.
And they also may not want to lug around an extra suitcase.
So pardon me for kind of looking at my phone here, but I'm going to kind of read you what's available in these packages. For rental, they have waterproof boots, waterproof pants, and some trekking poles that you could rent and then not have to keep. Now, they have 2 kits that you could order. The Bare Essentials has a stretch bottoms, stretch top, I'm presuming that's a base layer, a hat, Gore-Tex gloves, outdoor thermal boot socks, and a neck gaiter. In the alternative, you can choose the ultimate package, which includes those things I just said, plus a nano puff vest and glove liners. So that could be a good solution for folks if they don't want to shop and find all of these things. You could get some of the basic or more unique things ordered and delivered right to your stateroom on your Viking ship. Folks, we are really looking forward to this adventurous cruise. I hope you keep following us and see how this cruise comes out. If you've enjoyed this video or found it useful, you could give us a thumbs up. That really helps the video get pushed out to more viewers who might be interested in it. And you could also subscribe so you won't miss any of our future videos showing just how we come out on this cruise.
Until next time, we say goodbye.